Hello, welcome back to our IT Lindy PowerShell Nugget course. So far we have covered a few modules. For today we will be talking about collection within PowerShell. A quick recap to what we have covered so far. The course outline fundamentals, module 1, getting started with PowerShell, quick intro, which is module 2. Then overview about objects and variables, that was module 3. Then 4 we spoke about pipelines formatting, and 5 we spoke about data structure, export, import. Then we have 6, 7, 8, and then the other stuff as well. Yeah, we have covered the Windows PowerShell improvement on Server 2016. Just in case, if you are interested, please do refer to that module. I had to shift it due to requirement, which means that will be not module 12. Okay, so let's we move back to our new module, which is data structure, and this point is around collection. So let's have a look what we will be covering here. Under the data structure, we have arrays, jagged and multi-dimensional arrays, and then we have array list, and then we have hash tables. So these are the sort of like area we're going to cover part of our course for today. So let's have a look at each one of these. To start with, we're going to compare basically the scalar and versus an array. And arrays in PowerShell, what they are basically, then how we can get members, or get member hyphen get hyphen member works with array, and then how to access array, and how we can use array operators, and then being able to manipulate with the arrays. So these are the areas we're going to cover for these modules. Hopefully it does address our requirement in relation to arrays and the associative arrays. Let's have a look. A quick comparison between these two. Single valued variables are called scalar variables. So if it's a single value, it is scalar. If it's and what else? The variables that can hold a list of values are called array. So one single one is scalar, and multiple, or the values are within sort of like the space which is called array. Now, basic array can be integer indexed starting with 0. So look at the diagram. We got a $I, which means it's a variable basically, and it is 5. Yeah? So this is scalar, whereas an array is $processes, but look at underneath it. It is a combination of multiple scalars. So like Notepad, Outlook, Excel. So back again, like integer, it will be scalar, whereas process, we are referring to multiple, which will hold the info or the variables within the space. Hopefully this will clarify what is scalar and what is array, because the rest of these modules will be focused around these two topics. Let's move on with some examples. We'll see how that works for us. Next, how can I create an array? We said like earlier, PowerShell always create an array if needed, more than one value to be handled. You can see the following commands which create the arrays, and PowerShell always create this kind of type with system.object brackets, and we call them polymorphic. So let's have a look. Get hyphen child item hyphen path, or get process, or get surface, or get hyphen help name, get dollar or star, and then $array ARR equal to the string. Okay, and you can see the array as well. It could be mixture between integer strings, and you can see get data, and same thing apply to the jar. So Let me explain each one of these, what they mean basically. So we said earlier, arrays are used extensively in PowerShell. Why? Because we use them to store the result of pipelines, operations, and commandlets. When you run a pipeline that emits a sequence of objects and assign the output to a variable, an array is automatically created, specifically a generic .NET system array. Because nowadays, later on we covered some of the work we deal with within Azure, within .NET, and we're using VSTS, and some of these templates are available, and we can see these templates within PowerShell as an array, and especially around .NET system arrays. Next is the get child item and get process. These, they might return one value or list of objects depending on the filters being used. Even the get help and the get member return array, as they do not return text, but it could be object that contain the information about the object, or maybe the help commands, or it could be the function itself. Pardon. Another important thing to note is that arrays are polymorphic by default. What does that mean? That you can store any type of object in an array, like for VPS script, old days used, which we'll call these as a variant array, if you call old days, yeah, before PowerShell. So you can create an array by only assigning integers to it, basically, and later assigning string, or it could be booleans. The original array is capable of storing any kind of object. In formal terms, PowerShell arrays are polymorphic by default, though it is possible to create another type which we call a constraint array. Of course, PowerShell supports also jagged arrays and multi-dimensional arrays. A jagged array is an array whose basically elements are array. So the elements of the jagged array can be different dimensions and sizes. A jagged array is sometimes called array of array. Let me show you some examples, and hopefully that will clarify this for us in relation to the jagged. I mean, I've already covered the last part. You can see the dollar jagged equal two brackets, and then you can see there's an array between 1 to 4 and comma another array, comma another array. So you can see it is sort of like a nested array within an array. Hopefully that clarifies for us some of these objectives. Next, how do we access these arrays? Indexing into arrays work in PowerShell, like in most scripting programming languages. The first element has the index 0. The last element has the index of -1. Slicing allowing access more than one entry. Have a look. $A equal getting child item, hyphen path, and C semicolon or colon Windows / Windows. We have an array on bracket 0, array -1, and in between. Reading the array is achieved by indexing into array element number. We can use single number to list specific array position, or can use range of operators with multiple value. It could be negative numbers and range list. We need to note that the array in PowerShell are zero origin, as with most other scripting programming languages, that the first element is the array which is index 0, not index 1. As an example, I'll just show you on the screenshot, like array 0 and -1 and between. To access each item in array one by one, you iterate over array. This can be done using pipeline or the for each statement. For example, for each hyphen object dollar my array equal like integers 1 2 3 4, and then dollar sum equals 0 and my range. So these I've got some examples around the statements, and you can review to them always. I mean, this is what I have for you for today for part 1. Just a comparison between array and scalar, what they are, how we can access the array. I'm going to continue with the next one to expand around the accessing, and hopefully we have learned something useful. Just like quick recap, we have covered on this module, which is we call a collection for data structure, and it was around arrays and scalars. We said the scalars one value, or one items to be integer, and we say array it could be multiple variables or items. Yeah, and we covered some of the approaches in accessing array, and maybe we have array within array. That was part of different type we spoke about in relation to array or Jagger array or multi-dimensional array, and so on. We will recap them again, and hopefully you have learned something useful, and I shall see you at part 2 of our module 6 for collection. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.